Hello, friends! I am launching a new series which is going to be called, I guess, Leverton on Music. And I'm going to be reviewing every album I own, and that number keeps on getting bigger and bigger. And I wanted to do this because I want to have like deep dives of artists. And the first band and musicians that I'm going to talk about are the Doors. But before I talk about that, I have to get something out of the way. I've been trying to make these videos more interactive and add more things to it. And I wanted to start with this particular review, but for some reason, the Doors have the YouTube algorithm in the palm of their hands. Because if you have like 10 seconds of Doors music in your video will be blocked now. If you show a concert without any music or anything, your video will be blocked, which is crazy because you can find so many videos of things that have been published earlier on YouTube of the Doors. But right now, it's not possible. And I don't understand that because the band released their first album in 1967, which is uh it's almost 50 years ago, right? Almost 50 years ago, they released their first album. And nobody is going to listen to this music in the future. Or maybe not nobody, but it's going to be music like ragtime is now. It's going to be music that people really, really want to find. So, if you want people to continue to listen to your music in the future, I would make it more easy for people to share it. That's just my personal opinion. But anyway, I've been kind of ranting a little bit about that, but let's talk about the actual album. And I am literally going to read my review here because, as I said, I won't be able to make this very interactive, but I hope with other artists I'll be able to make it more interactive, if that makes sense. So this is just the first of many music reviews. In 1967, The Doors, a psychedelic hard rock band, released Light My Fire and burst into national prominence. Millions of teenagers rushed to buy their self-titled debut album and were probably both deeply troubled and pleased with their decision. The Doors were three brilliant musicians and one mediocre poet with more charisma than most film stars. Robbie Krieger, guitarist, Ray Manzarek, organist, John Densmore, drums, and Jim Morrison, poet. Let's talk about their first album. Break On Through starts with a jaunty organ lick and a hard-driving guitar riff. Morrison starts the song almost conversationally. You know, The Day Destroys the Night. The hard-driving beat starts. The chorus begins. It's almost as if someone has poured gasoline on the band and lit them on fire. There's a manic energy that subsides with the next verse. The song, musically, has all of the energy of someone trying to break on through to the other side. You could interpret the lyrics, of course, as meaning that you need to break through the burden of normalcy to see the world as it really is. But I like to think of it as a love song. It's about the desire to go further, deeper than your partner is ready for, or that your partner wants. The middle section has the same jaunty organ lick, but the aggression is up a notch. And while it seems we have a moment of musical calm, we are plunged back into the aggression. Everybody loves my baby. She gets high. So the couple of the story have deepened their relationship by trying drugs together. I found an island in your arms, country in your eyes. But it's not enough. Arms are traitors, eyes are lying. The song crashes out. again with manic energy, and abruptly ends. So Break On Through starts the album. The second song on the album is called Soul Kitchen. So we then move on to a song of theirs that did not do much commercially and was kind of forgotten later, but one which is one of my all-time favorites of theirs, Soul Kitchen. It starts with a similar organ groove to Break On Through, but whereas that song has this manic energy just beneath the surface, this has a relaxed vibe. The riff starts, and instead of driving, it's bouncy. Jim states, "Well, the clock says it's time to go now. I guess I better go now. But wait, can I stay here all night? That would be swell." This is one of their songs where Jim's lyrics do not go to waste. The cars crawl past, all stuffed with eyes. Street lights shed its hollow glow. Your brain seems bruised with numb surprise. Still one place to go. That first line especially is so evocative. Everybody knows the feeling of seeing cars and imagining who is inside of them looking at you. The chorus roars in, announced by Densmore's booming drums. The lyrics the same plea to stay in this place of comfort. It's a plea to help the narrator reject loneliness. Turn me out and I'll wander, baby, stumbling in your neon grove. The tone of the song shifts for the middle. It's quicker and yet softer. A domestic scene inside a public one. The music drops off. It's just Jim's dark baritone. Your fingers weave quick minarets. Speak in secret alphabets. Learn to forget. Learn to forget. The music returns and the manic plea is repeated. Krieger has a solo, and he has this knack for having these relaxed guitar solos in the middle of madness. It's almost like the guitar is the other part of the conversation that we don't hear. A frustrated but calm restaurant matron telling the obnoxious drunk that he's got to go. The solo ends, the groove returns as our hero has probably failed and is out in the neon wilderness. The line changes from "I guess I have to go now" to "I know I have to go now." He repeats his plea, "I really want to stay here all night." Then the song ends, probably because he didn't get to stay there all night. The song is great both musically and tells a compact story through its lyrics. So the next song on the album is called "The Crystal Ship." And "The Crystal Ship" is a song whose meaning has been debated for decades. I agree with the creators of the song that it's another love song. It's about a lover taking a farewell as the person he loves indifferently falls asleep. The music is soft and evocative of this moment. Before you slip into unconsciousness, I'd like to have another kiss. Some have said that the consciousness referred to here is that of a drug coma or even a murder victim, but I feel it's too tender for that. The music continues to build the mood, but the lover does not respond, indifferently falling asleep. The narrator of the song wants this relationship not because he can offer anything to her, but because of the comfort it gives him. The days are bright and full of pain. Enclose me in your gentle rain. A strumming piano. The time you ran was too insane. We'll meet again. This is then a farewell, one that does not seem to be given by the narrator, but still he has hope that he'll be back to her. As the music continues in a gentle way, he asks a pointed question as he leaves. Tell me where your freedom lies. The streets are fields that never die. Basically, why are you saying goodbye to me? Don't you know what I am? Deliver me from reasons why. Actually, I don't care why you want to break up. You'd rather cry. I think you like being unhappy. I'd rather fly. Fine, I'm leaving. Then we have the central metaphor of the song, which is only mentioned once. The crystal ship is being filled. 1,000 girls, 1,000 thrills. Let's talk about that image. The crystal ship. Sure, it can take you on this journey to things that seem great, girls, thrills, but it's a very brittle form of transportation, which is just as likely to shatter apart with the first bad weather. I said in the beginning that Morrison was a mediocre poet, but rarely he is not. This is one of those times. The song ends, when we get back. If we get back, I'll drop a line. Even though you rejected me, I still care about you. Okay, the next song on the album is pretty forgetful and forgettable. It's called 20th Century Fox. It is literally one of their most forgettable songs. The only interesting part is the bit in the chorus when they're using different vocals for Morrison. So I guess they spliced it together. So it's not exactly a harmony, but it's like she's a 20th century fox. So it's like a conversation between those two vocal leads. But the problem with the song is that everything needs a footnote now in the song. So, 20th Century Fox was a company that made films. A fox was a sexy lady. So if you say that she's a 20th Century Fox, you mean like she is sexy, like being an actress or something. Maybe she is even an actress. And it was recorded in the 20th century. So the song is dated. It doesn't make much sense now. And then the next song on the album, I also personally don't like. It's called Alabama Song. And this is their first cover on the album, which is not a blues number, surprisingly for them. It's from a musical. So I don't have any proof of this, but they were the house band at a bar in the 60s called Whiskey A Go-Go. So I think that they started to play this song just as a nod to the name. And the song is perfectly fine. It's like a drinking song or whatever, like doo 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 doo. I always imagined it being like one of those things in the circus. So it's fine, but it's more interesting than 20th Century Fox, but in my opinion, not by much. Although I do have to say, people do really like that song. So maybe it's only about my personal opinion. All right. Now we move on to my most controversial opinion during this review, which is because the next song on the album is the last song on the first side, called Light My Fire. So Light My Fire is certainly their most commercially successful song and the one that launched their careers. Without it, I wouldn't be making this review. But I do not like it at all. I think the lyrics are vapid, although that's not Morrison's fault. The main songwriter for this was Robbie Krieger. To show you what I mean, here is the first verse. You know that it would be untrue. You know that I would be a liar. If I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. And then, try now, we can only lose. This is the next verse. This is Morrison's. And our love will become a funeral pyre. It's the same very simple rhyme scheme throughout. It seems to be about drugs or love, but it's completely unclear. And as I said, the rhymes are stupid and predictable. The jazz, so that's just the lyrics though. Musically, it's really interesting if you like jazz. The jazz musicians in the band, so the three non-poets, got their way and made this into a remarkable jazz rock song. But as I hinted at before, I really hate jazz. I don't like it. It dawdles. It doesn't go in the proper direction musically. Give me rock or blues any day, and probably blues first. I much prefer blues. If there's one song you know by the Doors, uh, it's probably this one, and that's just sad. They have three far superior songs that I just reviewed: "Break On Through," "A Crystal Ship," and "Soul Kitchen." Okay, so now, if we were in 1967, we would flip the record over and we would listen to the second side. And the second side starts with the second cover on the album, which is "Backdoor Man." In the original blues number, Howlin' Wolf tells the story of how he sneaks around behind the backs of husbands, gets caught with one of the wives, and shoots the husband in self-defense. The song is like a lot of Howlin' Wolf songs, straightforward but so very, very enjoyable. The Doors version is one which is much more full of malice, from the rock rhythm to Morrison's unhinged vocals. It seems like in this version, the murderer is not the husband, but the person visiting the wives. Morrison's voice is also a lot more melodic than Howling Wolf's, which is a bit surprising because you don't think about Morrison as being a great vocalist because he destroyed a little bit of a hint what comes later. He destroyed his voice later, but he was actually a great vocalist. Krieger has another of his relaxed and chaos solos. The organ is thumping, as are the drums, but the murder in the original song never comes. I think of the Doors as a blues band that is occasionally lyrical more than anything else, so this song is quite enjoyable. Then we move to the next song, which is "I Looked at You." And on on the one hand, it's kind of as forgettable as 20th Century Fox, but it's got this like crazy energy to it. So the lyrics and the music are simple. So it goes, "I looked at you, you looked at me, I smiled at you, and you smiled at me, and we're on our way." But then every time it repeats, it gets more and more unhinged. And again, I think that they only had 5 tracks when they were making this album, but they did this really great thing where they have like a calm Morrison vocal and an unhinged Morrison vocal. So the actual song is forgettable, but this is an example of how you can take forgettable music and forgettable lyrics and kind of elevate them by production. All right, the next song on the album is called "End of the Night." So later, I forget on what album, but they're going to record a song called "Riders on the Storm." And that song famously has this sound effect that was recorded in the middle of the desert. And in this song, "The End of the Night," there's no rain sound effect on it, but it certainly feels like there is. It's mostly a William Blake poem put to music, and it's the perfect driving song. "Some are born to sweet delight, some are born to the endless night." And it has like a nice melody that I won't repeat here, but it's also nice. The music is a combination of calm and eerie. It really feels like a car trip at 3 a.m. Okay. Now, the next song on the album, I think, without any... Well, we're going to talk about the Soft Parade later, which is a crazy album too, but this might be... Yeah, I would say maybe "Touch Me" is the worst Doors song. But of The songs that are not hits, the next song is the worst Doors song ever. It's Take It As It Comes. Why is it so bad? Because it doesn't fit with Morrison's poetic personality. It probably would have been better if he had taken the lyrics to heart, but I think they probably forgot this one shortly after recording it. The message is don't do anything to excess, which is actually a good message, but obviously Jim Morrison was all about excess. The music is fine, but it doesn't make up for the stupid lyrics. And it's weirdly placed on the album right before the end. And why am I so hard on their song selection? I think the next song, the next album that they're going to release is called Strange Days. And I know a few of those songs they were performing at the time of recording this album. Like, for example, Moonlight Drive. Moonlight Drive is such a great song. It would have been great on this album. Like, get rid of Take It As It Comes and put in Moonlight Drive. I don't know. I guess that I do know the reason. I think that they kind of struggled with kind of recording it in a way that fit their vision. But anyway, we'll talk about Moonlight Drive when we get there. The next and final song on their debut album is called The End. The End starts almost like a raga, like an Indian raga, and musically this is one of the most interesting songs on the album. This is the end, you twofold friend. This is the end, my only friend. I can trust no one, but you are the only one that I trust. The end of our plans, actually, the end of everything. I read that this song began as a love song, and you can certainly see that, but it's much more apocalyptic than that. No safety or surprise. That line is haunting. There is no safe place, and yet whatever pain there is unsurprising. But then, in the end, there is hope. Can you picture what will be so limitless and free? But we need help to get there, desperately in need of a stranger's hand in a desperate land. The beginning of the song tells a story, but I think the rest of the song falls apart lyrically, and that's because this section was improvised. And I think it probably was really fun to play live and really fun to shock people with the epedial section of the song. But this epedial section and the murder section, I'm not going to tell you exactly what he says, but doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the song. And the last verse of the song seems to be from this earlier version. It hurts to set you free, but you'll never follow me. This is much better than the middle section, which is where Morrison is a mediocre poet. I mean, come on, baby, take a chance on us and meet me at the back of the blue bus. Like, what is that gobbledygook? The song is undeniably epic, but it would have been better with some editing, which we will see again and again when I review the other albums of Morrison's. And I think maybe the other members of the band were too in awe of Morrison's talent as a lyricist that they didn't want to edit it, you know. And this wild and crazy man, like, wild and crazy is one thing, but you edit the things to make them better, right? And I know it's kind of weird for me to say 50 years later in a song that's so famous that it could have some editing, but it could have some editing. That's true. All right, that's what I thought about the debut album of The Doors. What did you think? leave your comments in the comment section, which is where it belongs. All right, bye-bye.